So you've decided you want to start keeping discus. That's great. I'm so happy for you. I think you've made an awesome decision. But there are some things you need to know before you go out and buy your first fish, and that's coming up next. Hey everyone, it's Lisa from KGTropicals.com, and this is episode 1 of my new discus series. Today we are going to talk about the 4 different locations where the discus in your pet store may have come from. First, I want to start off talking about wild-caught discus. These fish come from multiple different collection points in South America, and they're very sensitive to their water conditions. They like their water conditions to be very soft and very acidic. So if you're taking a fish out of its natural environment, you need to be able to mimic that environment in your tank. So I recommend that if you're not an advanced fish keeper, then maybe you should wait a little while and get used to taking care of fish before you go buy a wild-caught discus. Also, you need to keep in mind that they're not as colorful as your captive bred discus, and they are more expensive. So let's talk about Asian discus now. In my experience, I've noticed that they don't get quite as large as some of your domestic and European bred discus, and they tend to be a little bit more delicate. But keep in mind, I don't mean as fragile as your wild-caught discus. And I've also found that their price is a little bit better too. So they're not quite as expensive than some of your other discus, and you can find them at most of your large pet stores. Last but not least, let's talk about your US and European discus. Now, for decades, they've been developing these fish to be more tolerant to water conditions. And having kept discus myself, I've noticed that they grow larger than your Asian discus, but also keep in mind, I don't have proof of that. I'm just telling you my experiences with having kept different kinds of discus. Now, as far as cost goes, you're going to find that your US and European discus, they're going to cost a little bit more than your Asian discus, but they're not going to be as expensive as your wild-caught. So if you want to buy these discus, most of your mom and pop pet stores should have them. Any larger fish store, pet store should have them. And you might want to check out some websites, because there's several websites out there that sell discus. If you're new to discus, then I recommend the US or European discus. They're easier to keep. But US and European discus are not your starter fish. They're not for your beginner fish keeper. The only reason why I recommend these fish is because I think that you would be more successful in keeping them, since they're more tolerant to our water conditions, and you don't have to go to extreme to get the water conditions right. Where you buy your discus from is very important. Make sure when you go to your local pet store or wherever you decide to buy them from, make sure they know where they got these discus from. Make sure they know how to take care of discus. The last thing you want to do is get a discus from a pet store that's been sitting there and it hasn't been taken good care of. You want to make sure you know how to take care of these discus before you put them in your own tank. So if they can't answer your questions, then you need to move on and find another pet store. I prefer ordering my fish online. Now, I know there are some people out there that still like to go to the pet store, pick out their fish, take it home. You want that immediate satisfaction of seeing your fish in a tank. And I get it. I was one of those people, and that's what I used to like to do. John and I used to have a blast going to fish stores and picking out fish together. It was fun, so I get it. But when it comes to discus, you've got so much more variety, so many more different colors, different sizes. You can even get breeder pairs by ordering online. You can look up the websites on YouTube. You can get all the information you need. There's tons of information on websites telling you all about these fish. I had so much fun doing this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned from it. I hope you got something out of it. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your comments, your experiences. I can't wait to see you next time. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then please subscribe. You'll get notifications on future episodes. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.